Hello and welcome to our morning session of Meet Momo Code finalists. We are meeting Elbie Moonga today. Welcome, Elbie. How are you doing?
Doing great, thanks. Thanks for having me.
It's really nice to see you again. And let's kick off our interview for today. So,
Sure.
first of all, let's have a brief introduction about you, where you're from, and your tech stack, and your tech journey prior to starting the JUUBIX Global TechSprint Leadership Program.
So as already displayed, my name's Elbie Moonga, and I'm originally from Zambia, but based in Belgium. So I'm a professional full stack engineer. I've got about 6+ years professional experience, and my tech stack right now is Ruby on Rails, React.js for the front end, and databases Postgres SQL, and also a bit of cloud services like AWS Heroku. Before my journey here at JUUBIX, I was part of a program called Microverse. So it's an online school for remote software developers, and I got a chance to collaborate with a number of engineers from all over the world. Built a couple of interesting projects, and after Microverse, I worked as a code reviewer for a year plus, and in that moment, Susan approached me to become part of this great solution.
Thank you, LB. Let's go back a little bit. So, my next question actually dives more into like your background and your family history. So, I want to know basically, like, you know, was there like anything from your family history that basically influenced you in choosing the technology industry, or is there anything like when you were growing up that influenced you to go into tech?
Okay, so my family, I would say no, actually. Before I actually entered the technology side of things, I actually wanted to be a chef. All right. My mom was a banker and my dad was an economist, but there was always this thing about me being curious. They would get me a toy and I would dismantle it because I wanted to see how it actually works from the inside. So I jumped into learn about computers at a very young age. Moved on from being wanting to be a chef, and then um, got in touch with a couple of people like in high school, and we had this whole curiosity of wanting to learn how things on the web actually worked. So I dived in deep early junior high, and it was just going on from there. And here I am now today.
Amazing, amazing. So is there something that made you passionate about tech itself though? Like is there anything that made you like think that this is the thing to be, doing right now?
Okay, well, I mean, firstly, it was about problem solving because I really like to solve problems. Like these days, there's a lot of gaps, not just technology, just a whole lot of
Mm,
stuff that's going on in this world. And gaps present opportunities. But in order for these things to become solid, there always has to be a process that has to be uh, generated in order for you to succeed. So problem solving comes in hand with each and every step of the way. So when we're looking at being a software developer today, there's a lot of things involved in behind problem solving, and it always just keeps you on the run, keeps your mind sharp, and everything in that sense. So that's what really brought me in this position as we speak today.
amazing, amazing. So what made you choose to participate on the JUUBIX GTLP?
Well, firstly, like I said, we're actually JUUBIX is actually trying to solve a lot of problems basically, and problem solving is one of the major things that I mentioned, and also getting to interact with um, a whole group of brilliant minds. While I've been here, I got a chance to work with a lot of developers from around the world, and I believe in working in a team. I believe in like teamwork is essential to actually developing a project that's going to be really beneficial to society. So I got a chance. It's diverse for one, and being able to keep my mind sharp and being able to generate a bunch of solutions to solve different problems that JUUBIX is trying to do right now.
Amazing, amazing. So what areas did you cover?
Well, when I joined JUUBIX, I first was fully full stack. So I was working on the front end team and the back end team. But as soon as we decided to uh, create a front end and a back end for the application and have them both running on different servers, I moved on to the backend side of things because that's where those more logic compared to working with things on the front end. So I was lead for about a week, firstly, and as we moved on, my team chose to make me lead backend engineer for the team for a very long period of time during our sprint, and I was mostly involved in building up the matching algorithm that we have currently that helps us basically match talent, investors, companies, and everything in that sort. Yeah.
Thank you, LB. And so while you were like working, because you obviously worked with quite a numerous amount of people, so I mean, how did you find the leading a team of people? Because I know there was a time where there was a clash between like, should we go this way or that way? How did you feel that you dealt with that?
Well, I mean, that's one of the things you actually find in this industry, because when it comes to problem solving, there's, especially like in this field, there's
Mm,
no correct answer that everyone can actually give. Everyone has a different idea to find the results of a particular problem. Everyone has different solutions. So, with those clashes, as me being the leader, you actually have to bring up, everyone has to have the chance to contribute in the sense that we all outline our ideas and we all put a vote on what's best for us to actually implement in the
mm.
period of time that we've actually been given. So everyone had a chance to contribute in all aspects. And yeah, we ended up actually developing remarkable results at the end of the day.
Great stuff. Sorry if you can hear some noise at the background. They're doing some work
No
outside
worries.
my property. So basically I wanted to ask, like, what resources were you provided? So like, while you were, in the program, what platforms did you use? Were there any mentors, advisors that came, to speak to you guys?
Yeah, so one of the things that I really appreciated that were provided was a couple of mentors that we had coming out to basically educate, not just technological mentors. We also had people from outside programming aspects just encouraging us, and also we had the chance to like showcase our platform at each and every step that we took. The other resources we provided were um, cloud services like to deploy these things, because you cannot keep things locally all the time. Like I'll be the only one to know. We actually were provided with access to platforms like AWS, Heroku, and features that were not like just for free tier, features that allowed us to actually even um, improve the development process during all this time. We also use platforms like GitHub for version control throughout. So I would actually say that the resources provided were actually enough and significant to the development process in the long run.
Amazing, amazing. Did you feel that the GTLP was inclusive and diverse, and why?
Oh yes, very inclusive, very diverse. It wasn't just engineers coming from one one place. I worked with engineers different parts of Africa, some from Asia, some from Europe, and this helped us understand how everyone works, helped us understand the different backgrounds, cultures that we have, and this is actually beneficial because even in our careers, this is going to happen. So it was, I would say, not a test. We're actually dealing with things in the real world. How it would be in your career is exactly what we were experiencing while being part of the sprint with JUUBIX.
Amazing. So, did you make a lot of new friends?
Oh yes, I did, and I'm actually still in touch with a couple. I think Ciro has been one of the engineers I've been in touch with, Donald, just to mention a few, Caleb, Ricky. I think they've had lives as well. And everyone who's been a part and watching these lives probably has an idea of who exactly I'm talking about.
Yeah. I was also gonna say, yeah, Ricky. I mean, you're both. We found out both of you were born on the same day, and you're both finalists. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I was like, probably this was meant to happen. We're probably meant to meet because, you meet somebody like that, your thoughts just align in a certain way, and you're able to pretty much arrive at the same point, or maybe there's like 80, 90% minimal difference in what solutions you're trying to find.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, in terms of the actual solution, so what do you think of JUUBIX, the solution itself? What do you think it could do to the world or the global market?
Well, to be honest, one of the things that I feel JUUBIX would do is it would help in discovery of a bunch of untapped talent around the world. Like, to be honest, some of the places most developers have worked with, like I didn't even know some of these places existed. So that whole aspect of introducing people to so much talent that exists, and it'll bring up um, the it will benefit a lot of people in the sense that solutions that are sitting right now that have not been shown to the world will be developed and make societies a better place to be.
I really like what you said about discovery of untapped talent around the world. I mean that is a really good in terms of we're trying to bring to the table, but also about the barriers and the barriers to access that people face on a daily basis. So
Yeah.
obviously a lot of people have access to online, but they don't actually have access to resources, or they don't have access to communities, or they don't have access to certain networks that can help them or potentially grow their their value. So that's kind of
Yeah.
what JUUBIX does in terms of like bringing all those facets together, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, so in terms of when you actually completed the JUUBIX GTLP, what have you been involved in since?
Well, I've been involved in a couple of side projects because I'm always learning. I've done a couple of consultancies here and there, and I've just been expanding on my knowledge, seeing also what can still help us improve the JUUBIX platform, because we know we're not just going to stay at one point. I'm a finalist, and Susan was high enough to make me one of the facilitators of the program because she saw my potential as uh, being being a leader. So I'm still doing a lot of research and just need to be able to bring that into JUUBIX so that we make this readily accessible to anybody from around the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in terms of emerging technologies, what are the key emerging technologies that people should look out for, like going forward? I know this is not part of the schedule. I sometimes put some questions in, but yeah. So, what emerging technologies do you think people should look at, and what interests you as a software engineer?
Well, I mean, as a software engineer, right now, everyone has a different opinion, but I'll give the emerging technologies that I do believe people should look out for. So the first thing I'll go on is for like AI, machine learning, and all that stuff. We really have to keep up to date with what's going on. We've got a lot of software products that are being built, and that are centered like on AI. Everybody knows about ChatGPT and so many other replicas that are coming in form of that. The other thing is blockchain. We're moving on from Web 2.0 to Web 3, and these are just emerging technologies that everyone should keep up to date with, because what we had 10 years ago is not what we have today, and 10 years from now we'll be talking about something totally different. So those are the two things that I would really encourage people to keep to actually stay on and keep up to date with.
And how do you feel like this can enhance technology, these emerging technologies? How do you think they can enhance the technology that we have already?
Well, I mean, one of the things I feel these things will be able to do is help people to be more consistent. Like with AI, for example, there's certain automated tasks that would be put up to be run by AI. Not everything, but there's certain tasks that would not actually need somebody to dive in deeply and uh, like drown in all this complexity when it's been built on a model, and it can just be a repeating process.
Amazing, amazing. So,
Yeah.
obviously, when you first started your software engineering experience, like, from the very, start, if you were going to give advice, to an upcoming software developer, what would be your advice to them?
Well, I mean, firstly, I believe in the learning process. So I would tell all my fellow peers and engineers to always keep learning. Like we've said, technology is constantly evolving, and you must keep yourself updated with latest trends, advancements in your field. It could be you're doing Ruby on Rails, join a channel or something, follow a forum. I mean, follow certain trends generally. The other thing is you have to always practice problem solving because it's the significant part of software development. If the more you practice, we've got different platforms available. We've got like the most common HackerRank, LeetCode, whatever new things come up. Always just like keep your skills up to date, be sharp, and then work on a lot of personal projects. This actually also helped me in the sense that you're able to build a portfolio and you're not also only able to focus on tutorials. Most tutorials today, they do not teach you how to develop something, but they'll just teach you how something works. They'll teach you syntax. They'll tell you to say program this type of style. But if you work on a personal project, something actually trying to solve the actual problem, then you totally be able to do so many things in your field and then communicate effectively because it's one requirement that is essential for success. We should always work on our communication skills because, like in JUUBIX, it was diverse. You really have to learn how to communicate among different cultures and everything of that sort so that you're able to succeed. And then, lastly, build a network. One of the reasons I joined JUUBIX, any career, you need to build a network because you might never know what other person is going to be able to assist you in enhancing your career. You would learn more, and I think those are the 5 things that I would initially advise most developers, not just developers anyway, even just in general. Whoever is watching this who's not a developer, I would advise you to go forward with the 5 things that I just mentioned.
Another question that I'd want to add is, what are the positives and the negativities of, remote working? What are the positives, in terms of accessibility, etc., and what are the negatives in terms of remote working currently?
Well, with remote working, I'll start with the positives. Flexible schedule, because like I can be able to plan my day according to the way I need it to be planned. I don't need to wake up at 8 o'clock and program my way through to 5. No, my schedule is based on how I plan it. And the other thing I would say is you're also like able to build a network outside your work environment. Let me say, like if I'm in an office, I'm just restricted to um, knowing my colleagues right there, on site. But if it's remote, I could be working with people from Europe. I could be working with people from Asia, like it's been with JUUBIX. I think those are the positives that I would give. The negatives, I would probably give just one that's based on what I've experienced so far. Um, well, I mean, based on the fact that you're able to create your own schedule, there's been times where like my schedule won't be aligned with certain things that would just come up instantly. So I would find periods where I would burn out and I'm not able to deliver as I'm supposed to deliver on a usual basis. So one way I've been able to solve this is we can have planners, for example. We got tools like Clockwise today that help you plan your focus time and all that stuff. Those tools are able to help you find a balance between your personal life and your work life. And that's what I would encourage any, not just developer, anybody who's working remotely, I would encourage you to do that.
Fantastic, fantastic. So that leads me nicely into my next question. So my next question for you, Elbie, is do you see yourself as a future leader? And if so, why?
Well, I mean, I'll start first of all with the amount of experience I have. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I've got over 6 years of professional experience in the software development field. And I believe I've also got the potential to become a future leader because I'm consistent, I'm efficient team player, and I find it very easy to communicate and relate with people. So, as mentioned, effective communication is a crucial part, like of being a leader, and my interpersonal skills would enable me to like lead a team effectively. And furthermore, I'm passionate about helping others grow and succeed in their careers. And as a future leader, I would strive like to mentor and guide junior developers, which I already have done. Like even at Microverse, I was a mentor for a couple of junior developers just to advise on the path in which to take as a software developer, because some people were coming from fields that were not even related to technology, and I would help them unleash their full potential. So in general, that's what I would say as to why I see myself as a future leader.
Amazing, amazing. I wanted to add just one last question, which is, in terms of like you've got this whole hybrid because obviously we first met you in Zambia and now you're in Belgium.
Sorry,
Is
could you
there
just repeat that?
potential? Sorry.
Could you just repeat that? Sorry.
So I said now, obviously, like you've got this whole hybrid, kind of heritage, right? Where you obviously have lived in Belgium and also Zambia. Like they're totally different, different places, right? So in terms of like the the tech talent in Zambia and the tech talent in Belgium, do you think that there is enough opportunities for the people in Zambia in terms of like, if they have any skills in tech, do you think there's enough opportunities for them? And if so, where do they access these opportunities?
Well, I mean, before, let me say, in the beginning, my journey as a software developer, there were not so many opportunities, especially with what I'm doing right now. In my experience, I would say most of the things that you would find in organizations that I actually consulted for were off the shelf type of software and stuff like that. So you'd find yourself in a routine job where something is already developed. There's little room as to enhance your career in that particular field. But over time, with exposure of different individuals like me, you go back and you encourage certain companies, if you can say, to bring up programs that can initially help. So the difference right now, yes, I would say in terms of technologies that exist like in Europe and in Zambia, yes, Europe has got like there's more opportunity, but it's in development on the Zambian side. Recently, I had a couple of friends who were also engineers. They were able to become a part of Microverse. So programs like Microverse are like reaching out in areas where technology is not available. I mean, technologies like learning technologies like this is not available, and it's actually one of the programs that I would encourage anybody to join. You get to experience the whole diversity and anything of that sort. So, yeah, that's the way I would weigh things between where I am right now and where I was previously.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Is there any last remarks you want to give to our audience? Like, what would you want them to walk away? It could be something your dad told you when you were younger. It could be anything that you'd like to share with our audience, a piece of advice. What would you like to share with our
Well,
audience as a closing remark?
I'm just going to say that always keep learning. That's what I live by. That's how I go through all my days. Be curious. Anything new that comes up. It doesn't necessarily have to be in your field. Just anything that is going to keep you up to date with what's going on in this world. Just keep your heads up for anything that sort. So that's what I think I would tell everyone to do.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Elbie, for obviously coming on the show this morning. And thank you to all of our audience and our people that are listening. I hope you derived a lot of insight from Elbie today. And we have Packer this afternoon. So please do tune in at 1 p.m. But thanks again, Elbie. And yeah, take care. And we look to see what becomes of Elbie Moonga, you know, in the next couple of years. Who knows? Might be the next leader of Google, but another Google, a new one. So yeah, lovely to see you again, LB, and take care for now. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks a lot, Susan. Have a nice day. Bye.
Say bye to the audience. Hey, everybody.